आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव।
Azadi ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a Nation. India's glorious fight for freedom is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the valiant struggle every day. In today's episode, we will give you a brief about Madan Lal Dhingra. This day is the death anniversary of Madan Lal Dhingra.
The wave of independence movement had started initially as a protest against the partition of Bengal, and it gradually grew into a demand for complete freedom. Indians realized the fact that a group of foreigners who came to our shores as traders had cleverly divided the people and started ruling them. The wealth of this vast land was systematically looted by them. The very same people who depended on us for their trade started crushing our cottage and village industries, treating the people of the soil as slaves. This naturally needed an equal and proportionate reply. The people revolted against the oppressors, and the country began witnessing sporadic protests. Cruel treatment to the freedom fighters, legendary heroes by the British, agitated youth, and one of such young freedom activists was Madan Lal Dhingra.
Madan Lal Dhingra was born on 18th of September 1883 in Amritsar, Punjab. He went to Lahore in 1900 to study at the Government College University. There he was influenced by the nationalist movement, which at that time was about seeking home rule. Dhingra was specially troubled by the poverty of India. He studied the literature concerning the causes of Indian poverty and felt that the solution to these problems lay in Swaraj and Swadeshi. In 1904, Dhingra led a student protest against the principal's order to have the college blazer made of cloth imported from Britain. He was expelled from the college for this. In general, the incidence of revolutionary nationalism was on the rise during those days. This incident brought Dhingra closer to the revolutionary nationalism.
In 1905, Dhingra went to London and stayed in India House. India House was a student residence located in North London. With the patronage of lawyer Shyamji Krishna Verma, it was open to promote nationalist views among Indian students in Britain. It was in India House that Madan Lal Dhingra met V.D. Savarkar, who was then the manager of India House.
Meanwhile, on 8th of June 1909, Baba Rao Ganesh Savarkar, elder brother of Veer Savarkar, was sentenced to transportation for life. This deportation of Baba Rao Savarkar enraged the revolutionaries in London. William Hutt Curzon Wiley was the head of the secret police then and had been trying to obtain information about Savarkar and other revolutionaries. It was because of Curzon Wiley that the revolutionary freedom fighters in London were being targeted. The journal of Shyamji Krishna Verma, named The Indian Sociologist, described Wiley as old repentant foe of India who has fattened on the misery of the Indian peasant ever since they began their career. The resentment was such among the revolutionaries that somehow forced Dhingra to take an extreme step.
On 1st July 1909, Dhingra attended a gathering hosted by the National Indian Association at the Imperial Institute. William Hutt Curzon Wiley, the British officer, was also present in the meeting. At the end of the event, as the guests were leaving, Dhingra shot Curzon Wiley at point-blank range.
Dhingra was immediately arrested. At his trial, he represented himself, though he did not recognize the legitimacy of the court. He claimed that the gunning down of Curzon Wiley was a patriotic act and in retaliation for the inhuman killings of Indians by the British government in India. He was found guilty and sentenced to death. He was executed at Pentonville Prison on 17th of August 1909.
Young Madan Lal Dhingra had a comfortable and promising start to life. His English education assured him that, but that wasn't to be. He preferred to avenge injustice done to his countrymen. He knew it very well that avenging would entail untold misery for him, yet he took the plunge. Such was the determination of young Dhingra, and this and many more such sacrifices paved the way for a freedom that was to come many decades later.
And what a coincidence it was that in 1947, the withdrawal of British forces started from 17th of August On 17th of August, the first major unit made its exit from the former colony. A large contingent of the Royal Air Force sailed from Bombay to, as it was then known, back Great Britain. Of course, the total withdrawal of all British troops took time. It wasn't until February 1948 that the final departures took place.
British withdrawal signaled the end of the colonial Indian Army. Historians are predominantly in agreement that Lord Mountbatten's haste in withdrawing the British forces from India and essentially split the country. That's all today. Let's keep celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. We'll bring you more tomorrow.